ẹlòmíì máa ní sugar ló ń fa jẹ̀díjẹ̀dí. Sugar kọ́ ló ń fa jẹ̀dí o, ṣùgbọ́n sugar máa ń jẹ́ kí jẹ̀dí worse. You reduce your starchy food intake, especially rice, but it is usually unlocked by constipation. So how do you prevent constipation? Once you can prevent constipation, then you're on your way to preventing piles from happening. Hello viewers, so today we'll be discussing pile, jedijedi. Kí ni nǹkan tá à ń pè ní jedijedi? It is from that feeling that people get in their anus when it starts to sting them. That is why traditionally, or in Yoruba parlance, they call it jedijedi because of the itchy sensation that they feel when the condition has escalated. Now, traditionally, in the traditional healing system, the diagnosis of Jedi is from when that itching sensation begins. It can also be diagnosed when there is blood in the stool, or when there is a lot of mucus in the stool, especially in younger children, or when there is constipation. That's the diagnosis. Now, we need to understand the cause of Jedi to be able to understand how it is managed, or why it is managed the way it is managed traditionally. Jedi is primarily caused as a result of constipation. Now, constipation is when your stool is really hard. It means you're not taking enough water, you're not taking enough fiber, enough vegetables. So by the time stool is forming, it's forming a really hard mass. And when that moves within the GIT, usually because of the superficial vascularization of the GIT in the inner walls, we find out that feces will bruise the vasculars of the inner walls, and then bleeding would happen, especially around the rectum, where the blood vessels are really close to the inner surface. Okay, when this bleeding happens, we say that this person has hemorrhoids. That's what we refer to as hemorrhoids. It could be really severe with a lot of bleeding, and it could be very mild with slight bleeding. It depends on how bad the situation is. And then we have also realized there is a lot of data pointing to the fact that hemorrhoids and anal prolapse are hereditary. So there are some people whose family experience anal prolapse that we call idiyiyo in Yoruba. So when people go to toilet, you find out that their anus, their rectum pulls out, and they would have to use some kind of lubricant to push it back in. So that is anal prolapse or rectal prolapse. This is mostly, we have realized, or we're realizing that this is mostly hereditary, but it is usually unlocked by constipation. So how do you prevent constipation? Once you can prevent constipation, then you're on your way to preventing piles from happening, or if piles have already started happening, you might be able to manage it and eventually cure yourself of this condition. So by the time you're eating well, it means you're eating a lot of fiber, you're eating a lot of vegetable, you avoid eating heavy at night, you reduce your starchy food intake, especially rice. There's a lot of polished rice in our diet, and then you have people eating a lot of rice and very little vegetable. That's the difference between us and the Asians and some other cultures where you'd have them, they always mix vegetables with rice. So you can mix your rice with eforiro at about the ratio of 30-70, rice being 30, eforiro being 70%. So if you are eating rice that is this little, you are eating eforiro that is a lot, or you could mix it with salad, with mixed vegetables. That is just to ease the digestion of the food and make sure that your stool does not form too hard, does not become constipated, and then you're drinking a lot of water. Anyway, the best kind of rice to even eat is our local ofada rice, because it has not been too polished, and the bran on it is very useful because it helps, it serves as laxative. Laxative are those food items that helps to loosen up our stool. So when you see rice that is not so polished, that is the best kind of rice that you can eat. And then you avoid eating things like eba late at night. Tá a bá ń jẹ àwọn oúnjẹ tó heavy bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn sùn lálẹ́, a máa rí pé digestion wa ó máa wà affected. oúnjẹ máa sùn sínú wa. At the end of the day, it even affects, the abdominal weight. A máa rí pé ẹni tó bá yọkùn, ikùn á máa yọ because à ń jẹun tó heavy sùn. The fat is storing in our mid region, and we are not digesting food. Basically, Jedijedi is about eating healthy.